I don't want to wait for when I will turn to 60 years old. Then children will be at university somewhere. I'll build this wooden house. I'll find this wooden forest. I'll build this pond of some kind. And only then I'll start writing a book.
есімінің өзінде бір ерекшелік бар деп ойлаймын. Менің әкем Қамзабек, яғни.
I think her name is not ordinary. My father said that the name of his grandchild would be Unzila. I asked about the meaning of the name Unzila. He said in Arabic it means a shining star. Her creative features were discovered since she was a child.
Сондай шығармашылық талпыныстары көп болды.
Ну, мы всегда знали, что она звезда.
Well, we always knew that she is a star since birth. We grew up together. She is 2 years older than me, and she was a popular child of the street, school, university. She and I don't look like each other, and we have different last names, so I always wanted people to know that she is my sister.
Люди знали, что это моя сестра.
Она родилась с родимым пятном на носу. Вот прямо на самом видном месте было такое розовенькое пятно.
She was born with a birthmark on her nose, which then began to change over the years. It is right in the center of the girl's face. We were, of course, very worried. Firstly, well, this is oncology, as we were told. The voice begins to tremble, because this was a very serious problem. Secondly, she is a girl, and it is her face. But we tried to pretend that nothing was happening, saying, "This is your highlight." She said so. "This is my highlight." But she, of course, she had to endure the mockery of those around her. There were sympathetic glances as well. She didn't tell us about this, but it strengthened her character. She has become such a fighter.
And since childhood, I was accustomed to people's attention. This is not the attention I wanted. People were constantly pointing fingers, both adults and small children. I got used to pretending that I didn't notice it. And it seems to me that it developed inside me. Maybe courage, maybe some kind of strength. I wasn't afraid of attention.
And what she began to do, she began to participate in beauty contests. And she is, simply with her courage, her determination, her charisma, her acting skills, she was able to win first place. Not a Grand Prix, but first place. And only when she became a student did she participate in the Miss Kazakh State University competition. And again, she was given first place. And one of the jury members told her, "Well, you understand that yes, you were the strongest, but you know that you cannot qualify for the Grand Prix." And she cried, I told her, "That's enough. Don't take part in any more beauty contests."
When I was diagnosed with signs of melanoma, that is cancer, and they said I needed to urgently remove this mole because that summer might be my last. It was my first year of study in Moscow. I cried so much. It turns out I was so attached to this mole, I thought then I would lose my individuality. But it turned out that individuality is not an external manifestation, but is inside me.
Біріншіден ол маған ешқашан айтқан жоқ. Бірақ жазушы боламын болмаса жаңағы.
She never said to me that she wanted to become a writer, but I felt that. I never told her to become a writer or someone else. My parents never instructed me to be a journalist. It was my wish, and I followed. So did Unzila, to my mind.
I probably wanted to become a writer at a more conscious age. When I was in my last year as a student, maybe I watched a film, I don't remember what it was, but a Hollywood film, I liked the image of the writer. Such an adult woman in a white turtleneck is sitting in some kind of wooden house. There is is a beautiful panoramic window in front of it. Through this window, there is forest with some ponds. And I thought, what a beautiful scene. I just liked the picture. And in general, for me, everything starts from the picture first.
When your sister is a writer, it feels like every day when you listen to her stories, it's like you're watching a movie. For example, she goes to the store, and she can talk about it so interestingly that next time you want to go with her to the store. They asked me, "Is your mother a writer?" I say yes. They're like, "Ah."
Горжусь ли я? Конечно, горжусь, что
Am I proud? Of course I'm proud. The way she started. What is she achieving? Her goals. That she set goals for herself and step by step she is achieving. It's a lot of work to write to please the viewer. That is, people who read, they are very scrupulous and know a lot the assessment will be given by readers. If she succeeds, if she has great success, I think it will be worthy. And every laurel she receives from this activity are fully deserved. You can only be proud and admire this.
которую она получает от этой деятельности, полностью заслуживает. Так и можно только гордиться и восхищаться.
When every day you are between all these cereals, pots and so on, and your husband works in the civil service and comes home very late just to fall and get up the next morning, it seems to me that you are creating some other reality. As soon as the child falls asleep, I go to the computer, and there I am, young and beautiful. Everyone I want to be, I was on the lines in the laptop. It seems to me that I received the energy that could then be shared.
Когда у супруги есть настроение, когда она счастлива, это полностью влияет и на твою жизнь, на настроение детей, на атмосферу дома. Я ее первый критик и первый фанат.
When your wife is in a mood, when she is happy, it affects your life and the mood of your children, the atmosphere at home. I am her first critic and first fan. We can say that we complement each other. My work, her openness, her activity. She combines our common goals as a family and the value of marriage, that you can work at such a job and live an ordinary social life like everyone else.
Можно работать на такой работе и, в принципе, жить такой же общественной жизнью, как и все.
I realized that I want to write and then start writing about it on Instagram. Of course, I wrote posts, I wrote some notes, I understood that I liked it. And whoever reads likes it too.
У меня к этому отношение очень хорошее. Я считаю, что женщины должны развиваться. Это на самом деле наши дети.
I have a very good attitude towards this. I believe that a woman should develop. In fact, our children receive more knowledge from their mother. Child's intellectual abilities are developed with the help of a mother, especially if your spouse is a gifted person, creatively revealed. And all this will affect our children. And children might be close to artistic, high art.
Близки к художественному, высокому, к искусству и в целом могут быть правильными людьми.
My husband always supports me. That is, he says, do it. Go ahead. It seems to me that this is beneficial for him because I don't blow his mind. And these messages of 3 volumes, which are now becoming my stories. He was the only reader in the early days. I write about my feelings, claims, and now I think I'm glad that I'm writing a little bit changing the angle, but I keep writing.
Она выбрала этот путь, и мне очень импонирует, мне очень, конечно,
She chose this path. I am very impressed by this. I can say that I am proud. These are her first steps that I enjoy the process.
Поэтому сейчас я просто получаю удовольствие от процесса.
пишет в социальной сети Instagram девушка, что ей понравился мой пост.
On the social network of Instagram, a lady wrote that she liked my post. This post was about my place of work and what gender inequality is. It came out that she has been looking for a writer for her project. We corresponded, made an appointment. She said such words that caught my attention, that the project is dedicated to Kazakh champions.
Будет проект про казахстанских чемпионов.
We saw how her eyes were shining, and that was the main thing for us, in fact. To write 20 stories in a few months is literally to describe the life of every athlete, and that's just 4 pages in a book. This is actually a huge amount of information, starting from childhood, ending with the athlete's victory itself. We did it. I am very glad that she became the author.
Детской литературой я вообще не увлекалась и не думала, что я буду делать.
I was not interested in children's literature at all. I didn't think that I will be a children's writer. My daughter was my reader, the first reader. When I wrote this book and sent it to publishers, they told me, it is something difficult for children. You can try it with your daughter. I rehearsed it for her.
Такая зовет на весь дом. Самбат, Кель! И мне читает, она мне говорит, тебе понравилось?
She shouted like that, "Come here," and she reads. After she asked, "Did you like the text?" And I say, "Yes." And she asked there, "Is there something incomprehensible?" And I say, I remember every time I called her, she was all tearful and all red. I asked, "What happened?" She was crying because of her text. I have a friend, she bought a book. And another, my friend said that her mom gives her a book of my mom for the new year.
Она сказала, что ей мама на Новый год подарит книжку мамину.
Мама Бекзата Сатарханова.
Mother of Bekzat Satakhanov. I carried this story through myself. And his death was a tragedy for us, the star that just rose. And once it went out, there was a moment that his mother was constantly waiting for him at night. He came from training very late. When I read that she was waiting all the time, I had a feeling that she's still waiting. She was waiting for him, remembering him, because people remember him. And that's what I call it, a story about a mother who is still waiting for her son in the dark. And it is very pleasant that this book will prolong his life and memory of him.
Как будто продлила его жизнь, его память о нем.
За все это время вот у нас уже...
During all this time, the book has been on sale for 2 weeks now. I have not heard a single negative feedback. Of course, this is not a surprise for us, but it is really nice to receive such positive feedback. She coped with this task.
Она просто яркая личность. И всегда во всех мероприятиях она оставалась в памяти.
She just has a bright personality, and always at all events, she remained in the memory of everyone who saw her. I was not surprised. I know this is just the beginning. She has such a big potential. It seems to me that her talent deserves to be presented all over the world.
Мне кажется, ее талант заслуживает быть во всем мире.
We have a very patriotic family and a patriotic environment. I am glad that I grew up in such a family, and then I cultivate it in my family again. I am glad that my book, which has now been published, has been translated. It is both in Russian and in Kazakh, and it is about Kazakhstan's athletes. It is also popularization and image work with Kazakhstan, with Kazakhstan people.
Тәуелсіздіктің алғашқы жылдарында туды ғой енді 90-шы жылдары туғаннан кейін соның барлығы тек қана
She was born when the country gained its independence. I think the atmosphere of that time had an impact on her. We attended national events together. Patriotism can be seen in taken actions.
Отан сүйерлік деген меніңше ойлаймын, ол айғайлап айтқаннан бір нәрседен ол қалыптаспайды. Ол мәселен сол отанды сүю үшін жасалған шаралардан көрінеді.
Родители, мне кажется, долгое время
It seems to me that for a long time my parents treated my writing as, well, it happens firstly, as I became a writer after maternity leave, and it seems to me that they perceived it as after some kind of accident. You get into an accident, you wake up and say, I now know ancient Greek, ancient Roman, and some ancient Arabic. And then, just like that, I gave birth to my third child, and I suddenly changed my profile header on Instagram to say that I am now a writer.
Since we are close in spirit, I myself always write something. I don't publish anything. Then I understood her condition. Moreover, since she has 3 children and is now expecting a 4th child, she always needs some kind of spiritual food. And that's why, of course, I support her. But I didn't perceive her as a writer. And only now, when the book has been published and her name is on the cover, of course it's nice. And thoughts, apparently, have been materialized. I've been convinced of this more than once.
В начале своей карьеры же пыталась работать юристом на национальных компаниях.
At the beginning of her career, she worked as a lawyer in a national company. But I saw that this work did not bring her such pleasure. So when she said she wanted to quit and start writing, I fully supported her. Because that's how it should be. She should enjoy what she does.
Что она должна получать удовольствие от того, что делает.
Я не знаю, почему даже он меня так поддерживает.
I don't know why he even supports me so much. Maybe this also comes from his childhood, that his mother won the right to work, like all Eastern women, Southern women. It seems to me that he was a well-mannered child who saw it all. He never raised the question of me finding myself and working. And when I declared myself as a writer, he supported me in every possible way.
Он всячески поддерживал.
Ее подписчики, семья, все.
All her subscribers, her whole family are waiting for her to finally release her personal book. Her stories, I'm really looking forward to her personal stories. I say, let it be a small collection, but release your own. I think that the next book will be her personal one.
Ее личные истории.
Это моя мечта, наверное, признание меня в качестве писателя.
This is probably my dream, recognition of me as a writer. What do I want to write about? I want to write about our Kazakhstani women, because I feel it all in my gut. I feel motherhood, and I feel all different women. I want to show at my level that women are different. I want to write about Kazakh women who are living between the kitchen and their realization. I want to write about the saddest things with humor, because I know that every woman experiences all this.
Вот я сейчас смотрю на молодых женщин, да, и я поражаюсь.
Now I look at young women, and I'm amazed at their ambitions, healthy ambitions, the desire to have many children. And it's like combining all this, making a career, doing business, making your own personal brand. In this regard, we have a lot of examples, and she is one of them. I saw how the children went to the presentation. They walked so proud. They probably never expected this, that their mom would suddenly stand on stage. Everyone would applause for her and give her flowers. And I think this is probably more important than these daily breakfasts, lunches, and dinners.
Важнее, чем вот эти ежедневные завтраки, обеды и ужины.
Казахстанская женщина — это просто что-то титаническое.
The Kazakh woman is simply a titanic creature. She has the ability to balance between Eastern patience, acceptance, humility, and at the same time, this strength. Nowadays, everything has scaled up. It has become more complicated because life is dynamic. And a woman who maintains this balance is worth a titanic effort. And she's just great.